time in the next couple of
That
weeks.
baby. Oh my God, that baby was out.
And I'm going to send you the exact form. Slightly different to edit it, make it easier.
You got
Here's the form.
I should have dressed better.
And by the way, this is just fill this, just print this out.
But no.
But yeah, you'll notarize it.
Our view. Does the chair block the view?
Are you able to see us?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm able to see. Yeah, I'm able to see. Yeah. Yeah. On the video.
From the
He's asking you.
Thank you.
His face.
Yes,
Yes, I know.
No.
I know. Well, good. Thank you, sir.
All right. And we're going to go ahead and we're ready. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting back to order. Starting back at 8:01. We're reconvening at 8:01. And if our city clerk is prepared for the swearing in of our newest commissioner, Matthew Taylor. All right. If you could step around front so she can talk into the mic while swearing you in.
Here's mine. Okay, raise your right hand for me. I do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend
I do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Florida,
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Florida,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties of office
the duties of office
and uphold the laws and the city charter of Fort Meade.
and uphold the laws and city charter of Fort Meade.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, congratulations.
All right. With that being said, again, officially welcome, Commissioner Matthew Taylor.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to working with you the remainder of this year.
Thank you.
All right.
And now you need to give everybody out here your phone number.
Yes, cut it out. It's 911.
We needed some laughter.
Then you don't have to worry about it. He'll give it to one person.
Yeah, it is Fort Meade. District 1.
Damn, I like that. Here we go. So we are now going to agenda item H01. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's
Okay. Revised resolution R 2025-101.
I'll go ahead and read that for you, Mr. Mayor. 25-101, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Meade, Florida, authorizing the city manager, after consultation with and approval from the city attorney, to dispose of outdated, expired, and uncollectible municipal liens, requiring the city manager, in conjunction with the deputy clerk, to maintain a master list of such liens, providing for administrative efficiency, providing for conflicts, severability, and providing an effective date. That's all.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission.
Yes.
If you recall, a couple of months ago, we had a workshop. We discussed how we would dispose of expired, outdated liens and those types of matters. So staff has had an opportunity to review the database that was created previously by a previous administration. And there are a number of administrative issues, or not only irregularities, but things that we need to address. In order to do that, it will make us more efficient as a staff. And so what we discovered was that, and this is what we think, if you examine the database that we have, there are approximately 269 liens. They total a little bit above $67 million. Now, there are 124 release liens totaling 148,000 and some change that have already been released through that time. There are 13 liens that are more than 20 years old. Okay. and there are 86. And if you approve this, there would be 86 total liens totaling $15 million that we really would like to review and see what's happening. Now, myself, our code enforcement officer, and our finance director, we met and we started looking at how do we deal with this backlog of liens, and how do we go through and ensure that these liens are not legally defensible, that they're outdated, or the statutes run on these liens. And so we're at a point right now that we recommend a different resolution. It's similar, but what it does, it establishes a permanent list of liens, that the liens that are good. Okay, it puts a cap on all liens that are all liens at $5,000. So so that no lien will accrue to more than $5,000. Now, let's say that you have two of the same liens on properties. That lien will not be more than $5,000. Okay, but what it does, it allows for us to manage the asset. These are liquid assets, by the way, better, because each lien never accrues to more than $5,000.
So you mentioned if they have two.
Yeah.
So are you saying the property will never have a lien greater than 5,000, or each individual lien?
Each individual lien will not accrue to more than $5,000.
So he may have 3 liens on them, each one 5,000.
We'll
Yes.
cap out. Okay.
Yes. Now, I didn't go into some detail, but if it's a repeat violation, this is where the special magistrate finds a property in violation. Then the fine could be $500 per day, up to $5,000. Okay, you get there quicker, but it's $5,000. And this way, we don't have to worry about liens going out of the way, but you're still able to cite someone and take them to the special magistrate and find them in violation of a duly enacted code or ordinance. So it's protections for us, and it stops all of this. Well, how did somebody get to be at $3 million or $2 million? And quarterly, under the same resolution, we're going to be doing inspections of the lien database to make sure that these liens are being properly looked at, so that way they don't just accrue. And then and so even when there's liens that are quote outdated, expired, if that person, lender or property owner, requests a release of lien, then they have to pay $1,000 for that. That's if they want clear and clean title. We're saying pay us $1,000, because that's our administrative fee. Because not only does our code enforcement officer has to go out there, inspect the property, ensure that the property's in compliance, because that's one of the requirements of this resolution. But our attorney has to review it and have to make sure that this is a lien that can be released, because it's not expired, outdated, or indefensible, those kinds of things. And this resolution authorizes the disposal of outdated or expired liens. And so we believe that we can collect anywhere from 2 to 5% of the remaining balance, which is 86. And we think that'll come in at about $1.3 million approximately. And we could probably get those letters out in the mail as soon as we adopt this resolution, so people can know this program exists. So there's two things. One is the lien amnesty program, which you are fully aware of. Okay. But this one is a modification to the first resolution that we adopted, dealing with liens that are no good. Okay. So staff recommends approval of this resolution, and that would be our staff's recommendations, that you approve resolution 2025-101.
Okay. At this time, before we go into discussion, anyone from the public would care to comment on this particular resolution? Come forward.
Greg King, 1214 Westlake Buckeye Drive, Winter Haven, Florida. You cannot summarily say that you're going to cap a lien, because liens, if someone has, say if they're moving out of a place, they knock the cap off of the water, it runs, the bill goes over $5,000, the city wants to collect, you're not going to be able to collect if you cap your lien. So that's impossible. Well, you can do what you want to do. I don't think it'll hold. And also, you can't summarily charge everyone $1,000 because you're going to get. I will say it, and I said it many times while I was here. You're going to get someone who's smart enough to know that for their $300 lien from 25 years ago, and the state law says that the lien drops off after 20 years, you can't charge me for, because there's no verification for a lien except for code enforcement to say it's clear. You can say whatever you want, you can create whatever processes you would like, but there's no basis for it. They just have to resolve whatever the issue is that they had. It requires absolutely zero legal review. Zero. So to cap someone in that, it's almost like a mousetrap. And you have to realize a lot of these properties, when you look at them, they're under estate, the estate of, with 5 descendants that can't come together to even plan the funeral. So you're trying to resolve that and then telling people, and it always is the one who has to pay all the bills and take care of mama and all of that stuff. And they're like, well, I'm not going to pay another $1,000 after no one else will contribute. And then if it sells, I have to split the money 10 ways anyway. I'll let that vacant lot sit there forever and pay the taxes. So you're really getting into a slippery slope, and a smart person, a good real estate investor, can come and take this whole program apart. You got to consider those things if you're going to get into it. You can't overthink it. It's a very basic process. And you have to look at, you can measure how long does it take code enforcement to look at it, how long does it take the assistant city attorney or the city manager. I think when you involve legal, because legal wasn't involved in it in the first place except the magistrate, but the magistrate gives it up once he makes his decision and it goes back to the city manager. You can come up with a quantifiable number, because asking someone who couldn't pay to have the grass cut and they only have a $300 lien to pay another $1,000, you get into a mousetrap, and that's what creates slum and blight, because people get really discouraged and down. And a lot of it could be mental illness also. So you're asking someone with mental illness to kind of, you got to work with the people. That's all I'm saying. And overcomplicating and overthinking it will blow up in your face again in a worse way. That's my contribution.
Anyone else from the community care to speak on this item? Nope. And discussion?
Just a quick question. On the resolution, if the cap is $5,000, is there any kind of payment plan that would be available to people?
We didn't look at payment plans. We were trying to come up with general guidance.
Okay.
Now, let me just say this. Okay, we don't have to generate release of lien if this lien is not valid on its face by law. Then they don't need to come in here, right? Because it's invalid. But here's what's going to happen. They're going to come in here and say, you need to give me a release of lien. Okay? I think Mr. King is correct when he says that. But we're not required to do anything because the lien is not valid, period. Okay? And that's fine. But what's going to happen, in my experience, they're going to come in here and ask for the code enforcement officer, the city manager, and the attorney to generate a release of lien so they can have proof, because the title companies, they want to see that they can actually get clear title. And that's one way to ensure that they can get title insurance. Now the attorney's here. He can talk more about that, but if you want to make a generous payment plan, we can write something in here that could, inform a payment plan, maybe authorized by the city manager to try to deal with that. But for me, we could do one or two things. We should lower maybe the application fee. That's this for the release, if they get to the release. That's provided that this is an outdated, expired lien on its face. Instead of $1,000, $500. I was just trying to do some back of the napkin math about how do we recoup his cost, my cost, the city attorney's cost. And but we can, it's an arbitrary number. It's not defined or precise. And but we can do a payment plan, but to me that doesn't encourage someone in, because we still got to get the release. It's kind of like they have to. We're already giving them amnesty if they take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
We're already deleting the lien by effectively giving them a release. And if the attorney's got something he wants to say
Well,
about it.
I do have a question.
Okay.
That in the event that there is a service that was provided and that service exceeds 5,000, that's separate from a lien, correct?
Okay.
We still will collect on the service,
Okay,
so-
whether it's a demo or whatever. That's going to exceed 5,000.
so the special magistrate,
Mhm.
they impose fines and administrative costs.
Mhm.
Okay, and we did not segregate that when we started this journey of liens on property.
Mhm.
We could do that, but our recommendation is take the whole lien and say, hey, you can do amnesty, or if we look through that lien and find out that it's not legal, then we'll go through this process of having it disposed of. So if it's not a good lien,
Mhm.
as long as you're in compliance, you pay us $1,000 for the lien release, and we'll move on with our lives. So we're not under any obligation to do anything. You know, if someone walks into City Hall and says, "Hey, look, you guys are clouding my title," 'cause that's what's going to happen. And all we're going to say is, "Well, you're good because your lawyer says that there's no lien, then that's fine." But that's not that's how it's going to end up. Mr. Turner, you got something you'd like to say?
No, I think that's basically right. I think this is a good program for encouraging compliance, which should always be the goal of a lien program, in my opinion. So,
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I have concerns, especially, and I heard you say it's an arbitrary number, the $1,000. You know, and we're talking about if the original lien was $200 for whatever. Here's my what I would like to do is if we could, and forgive me if I have the wrong language, if it's defer or table this until our next scheduled meeting, so that we can have a little more time to discuss this. I don't know if I need to do that in form of a motion, Mr. Mayor, or I would like to have more time.
Mhm. So, is that the will of the commission?
I would also like more time.
Okay.
Agreed.
And so, yes, we would need to put
Okay.
that in a motion.
Great.
just a motion to continue to the next meeting.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to
One second.
Yes.
Do we want to add this to a special meeting, or do we want this to take place in January?
I was going to say the next scheduled meeting, as I was
Okay,
unclear. of
regular
when.
schedule.
Regularly scheduled.
Gotcha.
Yep, basically that.
We've had another special meeting.
Correct.
Um,
Yes.
sorry. So, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we to continue resolution number R 2025-101 for our January commission meeting.
All right. We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion on this and a second to continue resolution R 2025-101 in our next regularly scheduled commission meeting in the new year of 2026, January 13th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? None, motion carries. Okay, moving on to item H2, resolution R 2025-124.
It's a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Meade authorizing the city to utilize the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract for managed IT services with TPX Communications, approving a 3-year agreement with a 2-year optional 1-year renewals, authorizing the interim city manager to execute all necessary documents, providing for the attachment of the TPX proposal, and providing an effective date. That is all.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission. As you know, for several years, we've used data integrity to provide managed IT services. The contract with data integrity expired. It's been expired, I think, more than a year now. And since that time, we've continued to work with them without an active agreement, define deliverables and cost protections and the like. If you recall, back in August of this year, the city commission directed us to look at contracts. This is one of the contracts that have expired. This is not the first. There's a number of them. At that time, I announced that we review all service agreements to identify opportunities of savings, improve service delivery, and modernizing a number of things, IT, which is to me a big one. Uh, since that time, TPX, who is they currently provide telecommunications for us. They also do IT. They came before you, I think it was last month or maybe a month and a half ago, and they submitted a proposal to you. I've looked at that proposal, and in looking at that proposal and reviewing like all the details, I'm recommending that the city commission authorize me to negotiate an agreement with TPX to provide IT managed services. Now there will be some delay, so we're not going to just drop that integrity. We will provide them notice, because we'll still need that transitional period. But one of the things that I like about TPX is that TPX, when I was presented with issues from staff, their head management came down to see me named Jason Del Vecchio, and they pretty much resolved all the areas that we had. And what I discovered was this wasn't a TPX issue; it was really a staff issue. Okay, we misfired. Okay, and we said some things we probably shouldn't have said, and that created like a whisper campaign that really was not warranted. And so data integrity, I like their customer service in terms of talking to them. They reached out to me when I first came on board, but one of the things that happened was that it took me 3 weeks to get a laptop here. Okay, now I'm the city manager of a city, and so I informed them that I had not gotten a laptop. That's 3 weeks later. And I thought that the previous city manager, I would just get his laptop. Well, he didn't get a laptop because he had not, he could not wait any longer. So he installed all these credentials on his personal laptop. Okay. So, that's just one of other issues. Now, there's been a mixed bag of reviews from staff. Okay. Which I evaluated some of them, and I just said, okay, that's not the hill I want to die on. But what I do know is that sometimes when we have these long-term contracts, we forget about the other part of it, the customer service part. And I'm talking about being, Johnny on the spot and those kinds of things. And so while data integrity has not done anything, we have the opportunity now to piggyback a contract, better savings and less than what data integrity we're paying for them. And we can include all these other things. I mean, this TPX, they've done their homework. I met with them and they knew how many buildings that we need to provide service to. They knew how they were going to reduce our costs by providing, negotiating a contract with Comcast, our internet service providers. They had it all lined up. With data integrity, they're not going to take a reduction on their contract. Okay, they're not going to say, I'll do it for less than what TPX is going to do. So there's no reason to go back and say, hey, data integrity, will you knock off $50,000 on your yearly contract? Because they're not going to do that. Okay. Now they could. I'm sure they're here tonight and they'll talk about it. But I wanted to have a conversation with the whole, and it's up to you. My recommendation is that you allow me to move forward with this. I could bring back a contract for your final review and approval, but I'm satisfied that I think that we should make a change in light of some of the direction I've gotten from you about cost savings. I think it's enough for us to make a move, and we can piggyback a contract and do that. And so my recommendation is that I be authorized to negotiate and execute a contract with TPX in amount not to exceed the $12,000 a month.
Okay. At this time, do we have anyone from the public that would like to speak regarding this item?
Sure.
Squeeze by. All right. State your name and
Joshua Hurd from Data Integrity Services.
okay.
This is unfortunately news to us. We were not given the opportunity to make a proposal. We have several proposals out there, but not for this particular one. We have proposals for the library that we worked on for the last 2 years, as well as we proposed a VoIP solution back actually a year ago now that was actually going to save the city over $1,100 at that point. So, which actually was denied after it was approved. So, but this is news to us. So we would love the opportunity to have an opportunity. We've been managing the city since 2014. So we would just love to continue to do so. Yes,
Any feedback for
Josh.
Josh?
I personally like to hear from them. They served us good for a whole lot of years, and I think we owe it to them to give an opportunity.
Appreciate it.
In fact, I would like to go to maybe see RFPs. Now,
We've done that before.
Anyone else?
Well, I think one of the things that Miss Brianna Smith just presented to us, it goes in line with what we need to be doing, and that is streamlining cost savings where we can find them. And I'm all for doing that, and I trust that city manager, along with staff, are exploring options and ways that we can save, but also at the same time receive a product that they have confidence in. And sometimes that's just the way it goes. And so I do trust that you've done your homework and you're presenting us with factual information. And I'm all for going in a direction that staff feels will serve them best at this point in time. And the fact that we haven't had a contract with Data Integrity for such a long time, maybe that's our fault that we didn't follow up with them. I imagine if I was getting a check, I wouldn't call anybody and tell them, hey, we need to renegotiate. So I trust staff recommendation at this point.
Gotcha.
Mr. Mayor, I've been in this very same position. Sometimes as companies, you kind of take things for granted and you get a little lazy. Not saying you're lazy, Josh. I'm just stating that sometimes you kind of overlook some things. And from what the city manager has stated, I think it's time to, we can undo that decision after the contract is done. But I think it's time to give someone else a try and see if we can streamline those savings.
We have attempted to reach out to the previous city managers. We're aware of
Right.
it. We were just honoring it as we knew there was an intern. Previous one, we went to meet with him and getting him to sign. So this isn't news to us, is that the contract's been expired. It's been well documented.
Right.
It's just we didn't press it with interns as well as,
I'm
that
I'm
aspect.
hearing more of a performance issue. 3 weeks for a laptop. I deal with a company called P3 out of Pittsburgh, and if I called to get a laptop or software done, it's done like that day.
Right.
So I think it's time maybe to address it, and then if they're not satisfactory, we look at it again. But at this point, to streamline the savings. I think we look at moving forward in a new direction.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I agree. I would like to see a presentation from your company as well. And if that can be scheduled for our next scheduled meeting, would be appreciated so that you all have an opportunity. I don't know that there has been any conversation regarding specs or comparison in cost. So would love to see a presentation from you all after there's some communication, because there seems to be that there hasn't been.
So there's been now you see I have spoken with Josh and Mr. Sam and their sales rep, and they're very good at talking to me about things. But I just want to forewarn you, Okay. You can't be the person that's in charge of the organization and you have to do a purchase order and we have to buy the laptop before they actually order it. That's what created delay. Our finance director, the same thing. We started weeks early making the request. We had to do a purchase order in order to get this thing out. Purchase order in a city government. It's not like doing a purchase order on a private company. Okay. Now, there's no problem with doing what you asked, but it's a week later. Okay, next week. Okay, and I don't see a problem with that. But these guys' numbers are out there. Okay, they came to your meeting a couple of months ago. I didn't talk to anyone here about it because I wanted to evaluate it on my own. There's nobody on this commission talking about it. So if you want your recommendations to move this for a week, you can do it. But that's not my recommendation. But I'll do whatever you guys tell me to do.
Okay, thank you for that. Is there anyone else that would like to speak regarding this issue?
Dustin Burke, 2036 Street Northeast. During my time here, I did work with Data Integrity. I thought they were excellent. They met with us. They were proactive. They told us that we were underutilizing their services. This has been an administrative problem. If there was been a breakdown, it's not on their part. We have documented for years there's breakdowns over here. I think because of our long-term relationship with them, we owe it to them to present. Also, during my time here, I learned about the last time TPX came in. They run our phones. Let me tell you, overwhelmingly, the staff that was here told us how bad it was. This was a horrible decision. The onboarding was terrible. We've got a manager going out. You're thinking of having a new service come in for continuity service, purposes. Don't do that at the same time. Just wait. Just wait a little. Wait till the next person comes in. If you want them to do the transition, then great, but not while this is happening. So that's all I have to say.
Hold on a second. We do have the representative from TPS here, correct? Is there anything you would like to say?
And good evening. My name is Michael Vines with TPX. Many of you may have seen me in the past. I do want to reiterate that one of the reasons why I was contacted was it wasn't just one issue that was being presented to TPX to ask for a solution. It was many, but the biggest one was cost savings, was to be able to see if the city can utilize other providers to give improved service, but also improve cost savings. So when it was brought to my attention that, and then it told us that there were issues with the phone system, we did research. We did research to find out that the issue with the phone system wasn't actually an issue with the phone system, meaning that there were processes in place that were not followed. Because prime example, that when the same issues were brought to Mr. Brown's attention, doing his research, he found the same thing. It wasn't that the phone system didn't work well. It was that the processes in place were either never implemented on this side. And so when people said the phone system wasn't working, the people that were in charge of the implementation on this side never followed through. Okay. So then that was the first thing. But then I was brought to, we need help with improving our infrastructure for the city. That was the exact ask that was being asked from the former interim city manager and other people. And I'm like, okay, let's see what TPX can do to partner with the city to help the city grow, not just from one segment of telecommunications, but what can TPX bring to the table? We can bring. So the first thing that we thought about for a city is this is a government entity that really needs to be able to take advantage of the ability to capitalize on lowest possible cost. When you saw what Enterprise brought in, one of their providers was Sourcewell. We also partner with Sourcewell. We're the only national MSP that is an authorized provider via Sourcewell. Sourcewell is a very large government person organization that cities, states, schools can take advantage of to piggyback off a contract that will allow the city to get the lowest possible cost, but also high service. It's a big thing to be the only authorized national MSP, meaning you had to go to very rigorous standards and certifications to be chosen. Okay, so my goal, my plan was, and our team was to, again, how can we partner with the city when we found out that multiple buildings were, probably this building here, needed significant infrastructure improvements. One from being on cable services versus going to fiber services. TPX is in a unique position that when we come in, we take over. We do full managed services from telecommunications, whether it be from voice services to whether it be, I've noticed that the team is not utilizing the latest technology, whether it be a Microsoft Teams, Microsoft environment there, or so when it comes to the outdated network equipment that is abundantly aware it exists here. In the past, the city, my understanding is, has said no to the improvements. Well, it's the city. So how can the city, when budgets are prepared years past, actually invest in that type of money? And it's very expensive. So TPX proposed partnering with Sourcewell to present to the city, how can we help you? So Sourcewell is the key here. And the industry manager will tell you that's the key here. It's Sourcewell, what we're able to do via Sourcewell. Sourcewell allows us to be able to, allows the city, not us, to piggyback off of a contract that allows them to get the lowest possible cost. And because of the current Florida state statute, not have to go to RFP because you're getting the lowest possible price. But now, one of the downsides of an RFP is you get the lowest possible price, but not necessarily the best service. All of us here, I think, can agree to that. That's the downside of an RFP. But what if you had a choice for the MSP that you wanted, but then also get the RFP pricing? That's what TPX presented to the city. So all new network equipment is included in that $12.99. Already in there, you're going to own it at the end of term. Any replacement issues going on, we'll replace it. When it comes to laptops, you don't need a PO with us. You call us that we need a laptop. We order a laptop, we ship the laptop to you because you're a current client of us. Because of our ability to one of our size. Okay? But the big thing is, so think about it. It's brought to me about onboarding issues and new employees not having laptops. The previous interim and city manager not having a laptop. You call us up, I need a laptop. We'll order a laptop and get it shipped out to you with due haste, quickly as possible. We had issues with phone systems. He said, Michael, I have an issue. We had a tech out next day. He'll verify. Came out and sat down with the staff and they were like, wait a minute. The issues we thought we have didn't actually exist. No, they did not. Okay, issues didn't actually exist. Now, here's the big thing. When we come in, we manage everything from your data circuits. You're paying quite a bit of money with Comcast. Because of our size, we negotiate with national carriers like Comcast and say, we want to bring in fiber to our clients. We cover all construction costs. And so that $12.99 includes bringing fiber into 5 buildings. That normally, if you did it on your own, they would charge you significant construction costs. We cover all of that. And so new equipment, upgraded fiber connectivity in the buildings that qualify for it. And another big piece, it was told to me, well, on the weekends, we're left high and dry. We offer 24/7, 365 support, including techs, and everything being proactively monitored. So when your circuits go down, we know it or issuing the ticket for it because we take care of it for you. When equipment's not working, we know before you do. We're sending an email out to the authorized person saying, we know this is down. We're on it right now. When you have an issue with equipment not working, with laptops, we see it immediately. Email comes saying, we see there's an issue. We're on it right now. So it's more than just looking to, and I'm all for loyalty, but sometimes there is time for a refresh. So we're not just coming in to replace phones, but even on the phone system, we talked about what's actually needed. So we bring in we'll still manage the phones, but a more improved ecosystem on the phones. Okay, meaning, so the industry standard is Microsoft. Most people here know this, so we're gonna move to the Microsoft Team phones. One ecosystem, nice, and the code enforcement director says, I'm always in the field getting my phone calls. Now he will be able to be contacted, whether it's his cell phone, whether it's iPad, or his desktop. Never miss a beat. And so think about improved streaming for your meetings because you'll be on fiber. Think about 24 by 765 support. And here's the other thing. Because of what we bring partnered with Sourcewell, we're able to amortize all that into one, cover all construction costs, and then also as an added benefit, just because it's all about cost. The commission, I've been here for months now, listening, trying to understand the city. So again, going back, I'm here listening, how can I best help you? I sat here going over the millage issues and all the issues with the budget. So it's an added benefit. We're willing to also partner with you, and because of the contract, present.
Could I ask the people from the crowd to please stop commenting? It's distracting. And we've already made that from the beginning that please, it's a large crowd in here. So if the least rumbling starts, then guess what? It'll just get overbearing. So if we could respect that, please continue.
Yes, thank you. And then the last thing, because of our effort to partner with the city to help lower costs, to give improved service, will also part of that contract would be that we would also credits totaling about $34,000 to be presented to the city to be utilized. $34,000. So again, that's what we present. That's what I've been learning, sitting home listening to everything. So I do appreciate wanting to see what but Sourcewell is the key, and the industry manager will tell you that it's all about Sourcewell, and piggybacking that contract is what is giving you the costing you have.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And I'd like to say something really quick.
Go ahead.
I know Mike. So there are two things that I want the commissioner to know about. That, I've spoken with Data Integrity, and they provided me with a proposal for the phone service, and it is slightly less than what the proposal is for TPX. But when you look at all of it, okay, there's cost savings involved to the point where you can't overlook this as a manager. I'm just recommending this to you, okay? We currently don't get after 5 p.m. service. You go to a voicemail and you're there. Data Integrity. I like the fact that I can call. I don't do most of my work till after 5 p.m. And I'm certain that people like Tim and them, they work after 5 p.m. or maybe on weekends. So these kind of issues can create service issues because not everybody's here at 8 a.m. in the morning and work until 5 p.m. And that schedule doesn't work. Now, I know you could say, hey, look, just tell Data Integrity what you want and they'll do it. And I'm going to say that here's what I don't think they'll do is drop their price, okay? Because why would they do that? If the price is the price, then how could you go backwards? And the other reason was when the commission spoke with me, because I didn't plan on doing anything, because I said, well, I'm an interim. There's no reason for me to move forward. But after I spoke with this commission and I learned that these contracts were an issue, this is one of the ones that got on my radar quickly, okay? And I had always planned to do this. And so this is something that I'm recommending to you guys, and it's up to the city commission to do it. And so that's all I got to say. I just want you to know that.
Thank you. And I'm all for moving forward with TPX.
Just one question, Mr. City Manager. Just to calm any indecision, is there a performance-based exit clause in the contract?
Nothing that I recalled.
Okay.
Nothing that I recall. But
All right.
but we need to have something like that. And none of the contracts probably have a performance-based exit in any of the contracts that I've seen
Right.
since I've been here.
Yeah, that's,
Well, we've that part has come and closed.
How could it have when I was up before him?
I don't.
Before him.
Okay, I don't.
And I sat back down.
Okay. I didn't realize that you were up before him. I remember asking him. You are correct. You was up, and I asked him. Did TPS want to say? Come on up, Mr. King.
Thank you, Greg King, 1214 West Buckeye Loop Drive, Winter Haven, Florida. Everything that was just said is absolute word salad. None of it means anything. This is not government procurement. It is not. Anybody, you can come and say, hey, I need 2 TVs. I want you to come and look at my TVs and tell me what you can do for you. Oh, I can get them for you for $500. I look at my invoices. I say, I'm getting them for $600. Okay, go down to Sourcewell and tell them that you're coming through, and then they'll put it in their contract database, and then I can piggyback off of it. And this is my only point. You can't say to a company, hey, you can't bid, or you can't do this, or you can't do that because the numbers are on the street. You didn't have to put the numbers on the street. And I understand Fort Meade is small. And I understand in most cases, unless someone wants to target you, probably no one will bother you. But this is not how you do government purchasing. It is far off. This is the most ridiculous process. And I mean, there has to be some type of concession, because you can't get in people's face and say, well, yeah, I walked through the entire building. I came up with these things, and I said, well, you know what? Well, let me see what the other person's doing. Because how, you say that you didn't put out specs, so how do you know what the other person will charge? Because no one, if someone is walking through the building pointing out stuff, they didn't go off of specs. They went off of conversation. Specs are specs. So you got one company that didn't have an opportunity to go against specs. That's absurd. Now you do what you want to do because you need 3 votes. But you can't tell people this is a purchasing process and go to Sourcewell. Sourcewell is nothing. They have thousands of government contracting sources. Sourcewell is nothing. So don't do that to people. Don't do that to people. You can go on the performance part. You can say, hey, we need to move on. It's been a long time. But don't tell people, no, that's ridiculous. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so this has been an issue since the last administration budget season. I recall Commissioner McCutcheon specifically requesting, as we were seeking out ways to make our budget work, that we identify all of these IT companies. It was multiple companies that were providing the city of Fort Meade these services. This was well over a year ago. So we've had multiple administrations that had the opportunity to address just these things. The lapse in the contracts didn't just happen with this one. It happened multiple administrations ago. So this has been a concern, that we get into current contracts, that we fall in line, align ourselves with our charter, and with moving forward with TPS, I think we do that. So at this point, if no further discussion.
Question, Mr. Mayor, and my only question is, can we not provide them an opportunity to give a presentation to us next week? Is there issue with allowing data integrity to present to us in the same way that we received a presentation tonight, present to us next week? The numbers will be the numbers. The cost savings will be the cost savings. Can we allow them an opportunity to present to us their plan, as we just received one tonight?
Well, that wasn't a presentation of their plan tonight.
Well,
they were called up to ask the same thing. If anybody from the public would like to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know when they became aware that this was on our agenda, but if they did, they had the opportunity to prepare and propose.
So I don't know.
So,
I mean, we would have to ask them. I don't know that they were aware that there was.
Yeah. No, they were not aware, because
Okay.
I wouldn't call the vendor that I'm not pleased with to prepare a proposal. I wouldn't do that. I would find a way to legally retain the services of a contractor, and that's what I did. I'm recommending a piggyback. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything other. I'm recommending another vendor, and that's going to take some time. And if you guys want to table it, that's fine. That's your right. All I'm doing is looking at the cost savings, looking at the customer service that I saw, and trying to bring this across the finish line, because I spoke with you guys about these contracts a couple of months ago, and at the one of the meetings, it was clear about this particular item, and I'm just trying to finish up something you already started. And so it's up to you, Commissioner. Obviously, I respect what you say, and it's my recommendation. So it's up to the council, the commission, if they want to,
I would like to hear from data integrity on the same apples that they're presenting here.
So I'd like to make,
RFP
yes, sir.
with the specifications involved, because they need to be saying the same thing about the same thing. Are you going to look at savings? They need to be able to talk about the same thing.
So with that said, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we table this into our next scheduled meeting, which is this December 16th, it seems like. That will allow, right, that will allow, I don't even know, that will allow data integrity an opportunity to present before the commission.
We have a motion on the
I'll
floor
second that.
and a second. If no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign?
Aye.
Motion failed. And I will entertain a new motion if there be one.
Mr. Mayor, I move to allow staff to authorize the interim city manager to execute a 3-year managed IT service agreement with TPX Communication with 2 optional 1-year renewals and an amount not to exceed the monthly amount identified in the TPX proposal, utilizing the Sourcewell cooperative purchasing contract, subject to the city attorney review.
I second.
So we have a motion and a proper second to authorize interim city manager to execute. Oh, that's not where I'm at. Yes. To enter to discussions to execute a 3-year managed IT services agreement with TPS Communications. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign?
Aye.
Let the record reflect the 3 yay and a 2 nay. Motion carries. All right. Now, we are here at K02, City Manager Search.
That's not in here.
That's not on there.
I don't have it.
Second page.
Is Mr. Slavin on?
He is.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Slavin, are you with us?
I sure am. You're on. Good evening.
That's how they refer to you. It's not here for me. It's okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Yeah.
If I'm not sure whether you want me to begin or whether you have something that you want to say ahead of that, but when I was here last week, I provided some information about a number of candidates who I've found to meet your qualifications, and have been asked by the commission to find out whether any of them would be willing to be interviewed in December. And though it may not be a decision made, a selection made until the new commission is seated. And all of the individuals on that list agreed that they would be they'd be willing to undergo an interview in December, and that it would probably be a virtual interview. Since then, and I think in the course of the meeting last week, the commission eliminated one of the individuals on that list, and one of the others, you may recall that I was talking about one of the candidates who was on a temporary assignment in Germany with a consulting firm that works for the federal government. He informed me yesterday that he has been offered a permanent position with that consulting firm, and he will remain in Germany and withdrew from this process. I was also asked to contact an individual that had applied a day after the first review date, but not a late proposal, because the position is open till filled, and to determine and to try to determine whether or not he would be interested in an interview similar to the way to approach the others, and whether he would be willing to authorize background work. That individual has agreed to be interviewed and has just today provided a waiver form allowing us to do background work. So there was the issues that I see are: does the commission want to hold interviews this month? If so, we need to figure out how to best do that. There be virtual interviews, but they have to be public. So how they would be formatted and managed needs to be determined, and how long you would want each of the interviews to take place. Who on that list, if any, you would like to interview? And who will control technically control the Skype system, if our team system, if that's the system that we'll be using. And obviously indicated there's got to be, under Florida law, those meetings have got to be open and available to the public in order to comply with Florida law. The question also arose last week about the full list of full number of resumes that were received, and there was some suggestion that that the commissioners might go over those resumes and determine if there are any other candidates on that who have applied that you'd like to include in on a shorter list. So that's a question.
Okay. All right, Mr. Slavin, if those are the two questions, I would like to pose a question to you is, what do you suggest for an interview process that is virtual?
That the commission has got to get most of the way I envision it is that you would manage those interviews, conduct those interviews from the dais, and invite and schedule the interviewees that you would like to interview at specific times. Have the city send them invitations to the team process and conduct them in that manner. I have some questions. They're not necessarily suggested, but they're sample interview questions that I've prepared that you might want to consider using. But my recommendation is that you ask the candidates what you need to know in order to make a decision as to whether you want them to advance in the process. If my questions allow you to do that, feel free to use them. If they don't, then use, as long as you avoid questions that are not appropriate, that you need to take the opportunity to spend time with them to determine whether or not you're interested in moving them forward. Each of them is different. They come from different, slightly different backgrounds. They've all been municipal managers, but they've come from different parts of the country and different communities. So they're each, in a lot of ways, meet the same criteria. They all meet the same criteria, but in a lot of ways, they're different. Bottom line is, I don't think a standard question, so each of them wouldn't necessarily result in you being the commissioners being provided with what you would like to know in order to determine whether they move forward. So I think it's, and the amount of time you spend with each of them, these are virtual interviews, and most likely, almost certainly, you'll have to have the selected folks, the folks you're most interested in, come back and take an in-person interview. So these, in a lot of ways, would be screening interviews, and I would suggest a half an hour with each candidate, and they would have to be on the dais. And I have talked to each of them about the possibility of these interviews taking place on the 16th that certainly isn't locked in etched in granite. It could happen at any point in time that you're available to do it, and there'd be time to schedule a special meeting.
We have a question.
Yes.
No, Mr. Mayor. I thank you for the information, Bob. Last week we were provided with information regarding the resumes of those who had applied. There were motions made and did not pass. We've had additional time to do research, and with that, understanding what the conversation was, I still would like to make a motion that we offer the city management position to Mr. Daryl LaTroy Bell, who has extensive experience in city management, as well as engineering, as well as experience in water. And I would like to make the motion that we offer the position to him as city manager.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Hey, discussion? I know we've have entertained Mr. Bill's application before, once, maybe twice, I'm not sure, but I know once. But he has some background, I did my background check, and it's the same as I found out the last time I did know him. That he was an incident in his employment at Palatka, I believe it was Palatka, where he was dismissed for reasons. And his misuse of funds and concerns on leave time and put in for, and it was issues I cannot overlook.
We're in discussion.
Yes.
Or where are we? So because we are in discussion, I just ask that the commission remember that not too long ago, there was a vote made by this commission to hire a city manager with extensive history that repeated itself here and showed their support for that individual, even giving the caution about doing so. This commission has exercised choice before to ignore whatever facts were presented before them.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, what I would like, yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you let Mr. Slavin know that we have a new commissioner?
Thank you for that.
Yes, to congratulate Commissioner Taylor this evening. I thought that was
Thank you.
That is good news in terms of what I'm doing for you.
Thank you.
Yes. So we have a motion on the floor. We're in discussion. Is there any further discussion before we head off this motion? I do want to offer the ability for the public to speak regarding this. So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Someone wants to speak.
Okay. So when we had this issue before, we had a motion on the floor, and we wanted to exit out of the motion prior to open it up for public comment. So I would have liked to have gone into public comment prior to a motion being presented, because at any event, we still have to provide the opportunity for them to speak on the item.
You ready?
Let
You want
me
to
ask-
start over? Or?
1 second. Let me defer to legal. Mr.
Sabatini.
Sabatini.
You mean, can you move public comment to a different part? Yeah, as long as it's before the final vote on the item.
Okay, thank you.
You can technically continue the discussion, then do public comment, yes.
Thank you.
Ben Spates, 613 Northeast 3rd Street, Fort Meade. I did some looking online. I remember a manager was hired sometime back, and everybody said he had been fired before. And I found the same thing with this person you're talking about. I don't know the gentleman, but it does say on the internet that in 2 or 3 places that he's had lots of problems. So just beware.
Was there anyone else before I close that portion?
Mr. Mayor, Dustin Burke, 2036 Street Northeast. Anyone that comes here is going to have some blemishes. I mean, we're not squeaky clean here. We're not going to get the best of the best of the best. I mean, I'm not saying Mr. Bell is not, but I'm just saying people are going to come with baggage. It's just how it is. We're Fort Meade, and we've got to clean up our own mess before we invite people with a perfect record in. So, and also I think it's disingenuous if you have a problem with them being terminated over a procurement issue, when earlier this year we know that the assistant city manager violated procurement procedures, and the next thing that happened is she was nominated for the interim role. So, I mean, just pick one side of the road. If you want consistency in procurement, then be consistent in how you apply it. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Lisa Rice, 504 North Pine Avenue. I, like Mr. Spate, did my own research last week, and it really didn't look good. But as Mr. Williams did say, we have in the past overlooked things thinking it was getting better, and it was not better. So maybe we should learn from our mistakes on this one, or just keep that in mind moving forward. Just my, again, 2 cents worth.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. With that being said, we have a motion and a second regarding making an offer to Mr. Bell. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, like sign?
Aye.
Aye.
And Mr. Mayor, I withheld the vote because I just don't have the information at this point. So
Well,
do I have to
be
vote?
clear, let's be clear about what we're voting on, because it's still not a final vote.
Right.
That was a vote to make the hire.
Correct.
Okay.
And
You
I have
said
not-
withheld. I thought you said
Well,
withheld.
I'm just saying that I do not have the information. You know, if we want to postpone it until I can get up to speed, but I cannot, in good conscience, say yay or nay on this
Okay.
hiring process.
So, just to be clear, what you would say, well, you're forced under the Florida law, Florida statute, unless you have a conflict, you have to vote yes or
Okay,
no.
so I'm going to say no.
So, well, and then you're, in kind of in discussion. So if you disagree, but you want to look at it later, you can just be like, I'm going to vote no to make the immediate hire, but we can.
Correct. I'm going to vote. I'm
Yeah.
going to say no.
Okay.
And we can revisit it in the future. Because I'd like to get up to
Okay.
speed. I think that's
So
only
I
fair.
think that makes it clear
Okay.
that the motion fails 2-3. Okay.
Well, I too would like more time to study more in depth than the others.
So now we're going to get back to the interview process for the ones that were presented. And so now let's talk about time frame. Mr. Slavin suggested 30 minutes. Do you guys agree that 30 minutes is enough time to interview an individual for this job? I have on my little notes here 30 to 45 minutes. I'm thinking maybe 45 minutes. What is the will of the commission?
I do believe 30 minutes is sufficient time. Provide the questions being provided. But I also want to ask Mr. Slavin, I thought we were going to be given, well, number one, are the backgrounds complete on the list of candidates that made the cut? Are those backgrounds complete with the exception of the one you said just turned in the release to run the background today?
And who is that individual?
Bill.
The backgrounds are not complete,
Okay.
and they need to be, but we have the waiver forms, authorization forms from all of the candidates, but they basically come in this week, late last week or this week, so we just got them.
Okay.
And I think we discussed not doing background work on people you weren't interested in, so.
But it's my recollection that we did not remove anyone from that list.
Correct.
It's my recollection that you did.
I specifically made a motion to remove Peggy Castano because she did not meet the initial threshold that we as a commission set, which is to have 3+ years of executive leadership position and nothing under that. But she was still added to the list. And so it was during that time that it failed. So her name was to get.
Stay on the list.
I didn't realize that. I misunderstood what happened last week, but I think that was a good. I
Gotcha.
think it's good to leave it on the list.
Gotcha. And so
She has submitted a authorization to do background work, and she also is available for.
gotcha. So if it's the will of the commission, can we say 30 minutes? Is it 30 minutes ample time for the
Yes.
interview?
I
Agreed.
suppose.
Okay.
Yes.
How much time in between?
Without reviewing the questions that we want to have,
Mm-hmm.
I think 30 will go. But no, the questions themselves are going to dictate a lot of how many questions we go with,
Gotcha.
the
So
intensity of the question.
okay. So then do we want to stick with 30 minutes or do we want to increase the amount of time that each individual will be interviewed?
Mr. Mayor, will there be a follow-up interview? Is this are we clearing and then bringing back the people a second or third time that we want to talk to?
I would like to bring back for in person for the final selection. I don't like making the final selection off strictly a virtual.
It will.
interview.
So yeah, this is not. We will not make a final. Well, I can't say what will
We'll
take
cut it
place.
down.
However, what we're trying to do is plan for how we're going to conduct our interviews. So, how are we conducting an interview?
Sorry, ma'am. Part of your decision about the 30 minutes has to, should be influenced by how much time you, as a commission, have to devote to this next on the 16th. It sounds like you've got an agenda already set for the 16th. This is a critical, obviously a very critical process you're going through in the selection of a manager. But if you're going to do virtual interviews and then bring people back, then they're actually screening. I would call them screening interviews, and I think 30 minutes is probably all right. I do have questions that I think are something like 30 questions. I'll get to those to you tomorrow, and I don't expect that you'll ask all 30 questions. What I would recommend is that you each take a look at the list and either choose questions that each of you would like to ask, and then conduct the question process in kind of a round robin based format, where each of you ask a question and then continue to do that on a round robin basis until you either run out of questions or run out of time.
Okay, so 30 minutes set for a time frame. Break in between the candidates. A 10-minute break.
Mm-mm.
How long of a break? I'm asking questions. Please provide feedback.
5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Anything else is needed? So, right. Go ahead.
I would like to work. I'd like to work with your staff to determine how the technology is going to be utilized. Who's going to run the Skype meetings, and how how the invitations to the candidates are going to occur. I will handle that part of it. If that's the pleasure of the council, of the commission, and some of this, because it's being handled virtually, there obviously has to be some technologies that's necessary. And I would like to either work with a deputy city clerk or HR director to do that.
Yes, because everything will have to run under our system anyway.
Right.
So that should not be a lot, but that's fine. However you choose to move forward to make you comfortable with the transitions between, I'm okay with. Any feedback?
Yes, questions.
Go.
So and looking at the calendar and looking at the 16th, and then look at the following week. So we know our interim city manager's contract is up December 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have the time. And so, Mr. Mayor, I posed a question on what do we do as we run out on the time clock?
It is of my opinion that we would allow our assistant city manager to take the lead as she's done before until we're able to close that gap.
That's the motion I made last meeting.
And with that being said, none of the processes will change because we address all of those signature issues, so on and so forth, at the onslaught of Mr. Howard Brown. So it should be a smooth transition this time.
Well,
Unless Mr. Harris and all that stuff, I don't know, but they'll get that worked out with the signatures and so on and so forth.
okay. Well, if I may, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I know we were already keeping the 16th open, but it does sound like on the 16th that we were going to address other city business besides interviews. I would prefer, and I don't know what people's schedules are, that we set aside a date specifically just for these interviews. Being that we have other city business that we need to get conducted anyway, on the 16th, unless we do the interviews on the 16th and do a special call meeting on the 17th. I don't know, because I think something was listed already.
Yeah, we were trying to deal with the other matters related to Duke Energy. And
Right, for the 16th, correct. So
Well, let me ask this then.
I would prefer we conduct these interviews solely on a different date, without any other city business, because that it's 9:23 now. That would make for a long meeting. And in regards to the interim city manager, I thought tonight that we were going to have be able to address that tonight, but it's not on the agenda. To entertain the idea of entering into a contract to extend Mr. Brown's stay. There is nothing that would prohibit us from doing that. It would not extend his contract, but we would enter into a contract with him as a consultant to carry on the duties of city manager until such time we decide who the next full-time city manager will be.
Okay.
Just a question, because I'm
Go
not
ahead.
sure. Does the charter mandate that we must have a city manager? So I understand the consultant language, but are we mandated that we have by title position that there must be a city manager?
We can't operate, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Council, an acting city manager, as the assistant would do, given that authority to handle the city authorities at that point in time until the contract is entered with the new one.
Okay. Legal, do we know?
I do apologize. You got in the weeds. I missed the last part. Say again.
No, regarding the charter mandate, that
Yeah.
there must be a city manager. There was conversation about Mr. Brown continuing on in the consulting capacity. There's a charter mandate that we have a city manager.
So the way it reads is if there's a vacancy, so if it's December 28th and there's no one there, at the soonest possible day, you're supposed to appoint somebody. At that, you have to appoint somebody. So that's why that whole vice manager clause is in there. So technically, if you appointed your assistant city manager temporarily to act, you would still do it in accordance with the charter by making her or him the vice manager for that short period. And then when you chose the new manager, you would pass another resolution. So even though you've probably just done it out of consent and your assistant manager was just acting as a city manager, technically you're supposed to make that appointment in accordance with the charter. If you didn't, then somebody would have to sue to, and they could possibly sue you to force the judge to decree that you have to do it. But, I mean, that's what happens is usually people say, okay, we'll just do it the next meeting. And there's a period where you're not in compliance with the charter. So my advice would be whoever you chose as the intern, whether it be the assistant city manager, et cetera, you would do that via resolution. They would actually be the vice manager for that short period. Okay. Sorry if that was a little wordy.
All right. All right. So, any additional discussion on dates and so on and so forth for interviews versus the 16th? Any other recommendations?
Well, I agree that we're overloading the 16th.
Okay.
I'd like a clear head to make a selection that's more than this, or interview wise anyway. And like I say, you only get so much done in one day's time. And I'm pretty much convenient with any day y'all might select. Now I'm going to have to take my dad to the VA hospital. He's going to be transported over the cardiologist appointment in the next few days or so. And I won't know exactly what it is. Something like that, I'll make any other time to say.
Mr. Mayor, the 22nd or the 29th? Would either of those days work? I'm going to be out of the country next week. So I'm already going to miss that 16th meeting. Hell of a good start for you, Matt. Yeah, but anyway. But I would like to be involved in that process. So I know it's the week of Christmas, but that Monday might be that Monday before Christmas or the Monday before New Year.
Okay. Any other date? Can we get something in the form of a motion?
I'm not available on the 22nd.
So question.
January?
Yeah, well, so as we're looking at dates, if I understood correct, the interim city manager could then become vice city manager for whatever
Absolutely.
period of time. That is a option. Because the challenge is schedule around holiday, Mr. Mayor. I am not available until the 21st through January, first week of January.
We deferred some kind of communicate. What was the item that we were going to bring back, continued on the first commission meeting? What was that item?
Lien.
Code enforcement. Okay, so there's the option right there. The first official meeting, you can continue.
Is that the 13th?
Interviews.
Oh, interviews.
Are you talking about the 13th?
January 13th.
Yeah.
First Tuesday.
Yeah.
I like that. And you'll be back by then, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
It's hard to get anything around the holidays.
Yeah, it's a tough time.
All right, so can we get that in the form of a motion?
13th.
If
But
that
wait,
is the
wait,
consensus.
No, because the 13th is the regularly scheduled commission
Correct.
meeting.
Yeah.
I would not like to combine interviews and regularly scheduled commission meeting.
At this time, there's only one item that we literally discussed being on there.
Well, you know
And that item don't have to make it on there.
That's right.
It can be
We can still
reserved
control
for
the
these.
agenda now.
Mm-hmm.
The city manager, do you have thoughts or recommendations?
Listen, I am willing to help, and I understand what you're trying to do. So it looks like no one can meet at the end of the year. Okay, that's just how it is. Okay.
I'm adaptable.
Okay.
So
all right. You can
whatever
do.
the date is, I'll make sure I'm there.
You have options at your disposal. The city attorney just laid out one. You make me the vice manager. You make Amy the vice manager. make anybody you want to the vice manager. Uh, let's not schedule a meeting on the 13th because there might be some items that we would throw on the 13th. The 12th is the 12th is Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try Monday or Wednesday. The
14th.
14th. The 12th or the 14th.
Yeah, could we go with the 14th? I'll be out of town.
For
on the 12th.
interviews.
Yeah.
He's gonna be out of town.
On the 12th. 14th?
Oh, you're okay.
So he said the 14th.
So try the 14th. That way
Right.
everybody can be there.
Yep.
Including
Can
Miss
I-
Lott, I believe.
That's right.
Including Miss
She'll be
Lott.
here.
Okay.
Can I get that in the form of a motion, please? If there's consensus for the 14th, let's get in the form of motion and keep this thing rolling.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I move that we schedule interviews for January the 14th? And have staff work out the time frames for each interview.
So we have a motion to conduct interviews for the city manager search on January 14th. Is that Wednesday, January 14th?
I'll second.
And we have a proper second. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? None. Motion carries. All right. So, Mr. Slavin, you have it. January 14th will be the day we've set for the interviews. We got 30 minutes with 5 minutes in between.
Better write the 5-minute part down. I had the rest of it down.
Now, Mr. Slavin, when will you have the questions available so that the commission can research them?
I wrote them yesterday. I can have them to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll send them through the deputy clerk or through the HR director.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Now, next item, Mr. Slavin. Is there anything else we need from you? Anything
No,
that we're not?
thank you.
All right.
I appreciate all of this tonight. It's
Yeah.
very helpful.
And we
Thank
will continue to proceed with the background checks, correct?
Background check
Yeah,
should be
that'll
completed.
fine. One advantage of having pushing that date back is that they'll be those
Right.
checks will be finished.
That sure make it nice for the interviews.
Right.
Okay. Item L. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Slavin, for joining us.
Quite welcome and have a good holiday season, folks.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Same to you. Moving on to new business, item L01, authorization of task order amendment for CPH to begin design improvements.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, this item is an item to begin task order, actually. Evelyn Guffey, our water and sewer director, should walk us through this item.
Apologies, Mr. Brown forgot that we spoke earlier. The documents were not provided correctly and we forgot a resolution. We need to remove this item and we will bring it back to you correctly. Apologies.
All right. So with item L0, I need a motion to continue.
So move.
Second.
All right. So we have a motion and a proper second to continue authorization of task order amendment for CPH to begin design improvements to January 13th. Our new regular, what'd you say?
The December 16th.
16th meeting.
The 16th, please, so that we do not hold up construction process, please.
Okay. So let me have that in the form of a motion with the date, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move to move item
L01.
L01 to December 16th.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to continue the authorization of task order amendment for CPH to begin design improvements to the December 16th meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? None. Motion carries. Moving on to new business, item L2, Community Development Block Grant Projects.
This was the one that that I thought that we were taking off, but it's the other one. So this particular one, Amy, our assistant, will take us through it, and then we'll make some statements after that.
Okay.
Can you wait till we have the statements?
Well, here's my thought, Mr. Mayor. And we'll move forward with however the commission sees fit.
Mhm.
I know that the time is far spent this evening. I do have questions and thoughts inside of this item, so which may belabor the time. Um, and so what I was going to do is I wanted to make a motion is that we table this until our December 16th meeting.
Okay, so that's a motion.
Yes.
We have a motion.
Discussion.
Discussion. Go ahead.
Ms. Wheeler, is this time sensitive?
It is.
It is. It is. But I'm going to go ahead and proceed with asking the questions to Florida Commerce and try to get some of these answers. If we can modify the budget and that kind of thing, but nothing can happen without the commission approving it. So I'll do some back office work so that way this week won't make a difference if we contact Florida Commerce and see how we can go for it.
And to give more context, this week I spoke with Fred Fox myself,
Yes.
and we had a very direct conversation in which I asked, because these funds be used as business grants,
Right.
and he very clearly stated that they could be.
Right.
And so, I mean, we can have the discussion tonight, but
Yeah, I
my
understand.
yes,
It just requires us to get permission from Florida Commerce. Okay, so we got to ask them in writing, and then they respond back to us, right? Say yes, you can, and then we could have that discussion. But waiting a week won't be that bad. Now, let me just say this: this grant ends June 30th, okay, of next year, and whatever program we put together has got to be program in place, money spent by June 30th.
and to that, which Mr. Fox and I had a long conversation. It is allowable, and we have the time to do it.
Right.
He and I asked him to repeat it almost 4 to 5 times,
Right.
and I think it is very important that we explore this option with business grants. As we were having conversation in our CRA meeting,
Right.
our people need support.
Sure.
Our businesses need support. It is evident when we walk out of this door and you look down Broadway.
Yeah.
And so because it is allowable, and Fred Fox affirmed that we have the time to do so,
Yeah.
is what
all the above, Commissioner. I'm just going to do some work behind the scenes with Florida Commerce.
Okay.
If they say yes, it's a go. We'll bring it back. Hopefully, we can bring back something more than just they said yes.
Right.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So, we had a motion.
Yeah, the motion on the floor is to continue this until the December 16th meeting. So we were talking about not piling up a meeting. It's piled up.
I'll second that motion.
So, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
So we do have a second. And so all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right. The next, that's it. Report of the mayor. I have nothing. Yes, I do. I wanted to speak on Mary Main Street was a huge success. And we had a good problem, which was parking. Parking was clustered, people spilling into the street. I would have liked to have seen more leadership from our fire department, who was present and just chose not to assist in trying to rectify the issue. I do want to acknowledge our Sergeant Lynch, who jumped right in and come up with a solution. I had to literally ask the fire department to get involved, and they were standing there watching. And so that gave me extreme pause and concern that we have people in that role that clearly saw a problem and did not attempt to address it at all. And so that's not the type of leadership we're looking for. And so I spoke with Mr. Brown about it already, just in passing, but I wanted to give a detailed account of actually what took place so that you'll have all the information. But Sergeant Lynch, thank you. Thank you for stepping in and making that thing happen. After I did request, then some of the other firefighters did go and assist Mr. Lynch. But I just, we had volunteers and we had people just stepping in and directing traffic and without being told or anything. And they were volunteers. And so if I can think of Rachel Kinney, I want to give a public shout out to her because she stepped right in. She and her husband, Tyler, Pastor Kinney, they stepped right in and assisted without having to be asked to do so. And that's the type of leadership we need. Someone who is serving, and they're serving because of the passion and not necessarily having to be told to do so. So
some things you shouldn't have to ask somebody to do.
I agree, and that's one when it comes down to safety. Okay. So with that being said, City Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, thank you so much for allowing me to serve. And I want to say, Commissioner, I don't need to know your last name because now it's going to be Commissioner.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
when I get calls from commissioners, I call them Commissioner. You know, and welcome aboard. I'm sure you'll do a good job if you're appointed by this commission. On the subject that the mayor's talking about, I will definitely speak with Interim Chief LaManna. You know, it concerns me. That's not the person I know. That's not the person I promoted. Okay, and I'm certain that this is just a misunderstanding, and I hope that's what it is, because I think that's what it is. But I will look into it and report back to you. Okay. Other than that, December 16th is coming up. You know, you did it.
Unwillingly.
And so we'll be there and govern ourselves accordingly. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any feedback for us?
Just quick, actually, the one item that City Attorney Smith wanted me to handle, which is that I'm not sure if you guys have done a shade meeting. So those are the private meetings regarding litigation, but you have to vote at a public meeting to have the shade meeting. So she suggested dates of either December 16th at 4 p.m. So that would be before the meeting. So it'd be at 4 o'clock before the meeting, or January 13th at 4 o'clock before the other regular meeting to have the shade meeting on a foreclosure lien. Okay. So, and it's important we vote on it now so that way you can have it then, because you got to announce ahead of time. So if you're in favor of that, I guess you can have a discussion, but just make a motion to choose one of those 2 dates.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we schedule our executive session shade meeting for January 14th.
13th.
So 13. Sorry, my apology. 13.
All right. So we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
And a second to schedule the shade meeting January 13th at 4 p.m.
Right.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? None. Motion carries.
Thanks. Good to meet everybody.
Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you for stepping in. Future agenda items of the commissioners.
For the 16th?
Mr. Taylor. For the first meeting of the month.
That's right. I have nothing at this time.
All right. Commissioner McCutcheon.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Williams.
I don't. I will say, because this will be my last time, just thank you to members of the community that showed up to the meeting and have been showing up. One told me they felt hoodwinked and bamboozled because these meetings are going so long. But I do want to just say thank you all for hanging in there. And I hope that you all will continue to come and continue to be an active part of what's happening in the city. That's it.
Commissioner Watts.
I have none.
All right. With that being said, any for the good of the order? Feel good announcements? None?
I think the Christmas parade is Saturday. Christmas parade is Saturday at, is it 6? Yeah, 6 p.m. Yes.
And the route has changed.
Okay. The route has changed.
December 16th.
It's no longer the new library site to the old library?
Correct. No. Yeah, I think it's coming from the high school.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Ms. Willard, do
High
you?
school, but it will. Go ahead.
You're right. And then at the end, at the library, we're having all of the Santa and cookies and cocoa and that.
And don't ask me to be
Activity.
Santa. Or
Okay. So
Now,
it's,
and I'd love to make the parades, and I hope to make this one, but it depends on what's going on with my dad at the rehab. He's in the middle of switching over to a different area right now, and he's not handling it real well.
So, for December 16th, did we have a start date? Start time?
6 o'clock.
6.
Oh, the meeting is on the 16th? 6?
It's our regular meeting. Well, it's our regular time.
Mhm.
6 p.m.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yes, sir.
6 p.m. And then the regular meeting would be January 13. With the shade starting at 4. And regular meeting starting at 6. Okay. So before we adjourn, our next meeting, special called meeting, will be December 16th, starting at 6 p.m. And then after that, we will have our regular scheduled first Tuesday of the month and of the new year, January 13th, starting at 6 p.m. I'm sorry, yeah, regular schedule starting at 6 p.m. with our shade meeting beginning at 4 p.m. And I too want to thank everyone for participating in this process. It's been a long time coming, and at this time, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? I don't care. Thank you for coming. We are adjourned.
So
Nicole, he was
Oh, it was fun.